Hey comic fans, welcome to the Comic Fix, your one-stop shop for every single thing DC Comics to some indie comics to a little bit Marvel. My name's David, and welcome to the Comic Fix. Now this is the second part in this week of reviews, and so to kick things off, we have Earth 2 issue number 5. I gotta say, this issue right here was very hurt by the Zero issues that came out last month. When the last time we left off, Grundy is killing the Earth. And in this issue, it's up to the Flash, Hawkgirl, and the Atom, and the champion of the Green Lantern, to come together to defeat Grundy. It is just an all-out action in this issue. Nicholas Scott's art is in prime example in this issue of why she's the best artist, I believe, in DC Comics. Just the way that she draws all the action sequences with the character development sequences, it's just so beautiful and breathtaking and refreshing to see. I mean, just going through all the action sequences, it's just so beautiful the way that she just does everything. Her and James Robinson are doing one hell of a job in this series. And I'm just disappointed to see how this book was infected by the Zero issues that came out last month. And with the Zero issues coming out last month, and a new reader coming onto the series, they'll be totally lost in what's going on. Because when the Zero issues hit, it hit in the middle of a story arc. And why the hell would DC want to do that? If I was DC with the Zero issues, I would have said, okay, you guys put it out in your own time. Yes, you guys will put out the Zero issues, but do it when your storyline ended. So it's a natural feel for anybody coming on to this series that they're starting somewhere that's new and fresh and where they could just latch on to. Where I don't think that the new readers would come on to this series after reading the Zero issues and know what the hell's going on. So that was the only disappointing part. But seeing James Robinson and Nicholas Scott's art in there, it just was a breath of fresh air. And it was amazing to see how different this book is when Nicholas Scott is not on art and it's somebody else. Because no matter how much I love James Robinson, I really do feel in my heart that it is Nicholas Scott who is bringing this book together and just making it so much better than anything else that's out there for DC Comics besides Wonder Woman and Batman. So in the end, I'm going to give Earth 2 issue number 5 an unexpected 5 out of 5. A lot of fun to be had, and there's going to be some names to be popping in here that you're like, oh man, I cannot believe he's on Earth 2 and not on Earth Prime. So some good stuff. Next up is a Zero issue which I picked up, and that is Aquaman. In here is Aquaman's early days. His father's just died, and he's on the lookout for Atlantis, so he's on a search. And in the search, he finds out a little bit more on how his abilities are work. And Ivan Reyes does the art, does a good job, but it's definitely not up to par of what he was doing before the Zero issues. You can definitely tell he's taken a little bit off. He's not trying to be as fancy as he was when he was doing the regular story arc. So I can just definitely tell that Ivan Reyes did not put his whole heart into the series. But it was an okay issue, nothing really spectacular. But if you're a new reader coming into the series, you actually are going to get quite a bit out and figure out how Aquaman's powers work in the New 52. That's basically about it. It's about him just searching for his home. Nothing bad, but nothing really great either. So I'm going to give Aquaman issue number 0 a 3 out of 5. Next up is another issue of a Zero, and that is The Flash. Brian Buccellato, his artwork and his pens is just gorgeous, just the way the layout is of the whole entire book. And I actually got a lot out of this series. I didn't know much about Barry Allen and his past and his, who he was before his powers and how he got the powers and whatnot. I really didn't know a lot about him. But in here, I just love the parts where he's trying to figure out, did his father really kill his mother? Because I know his mother died, and that was a big part of his who he is. But in this issue, I did not know that his father was supposedly involved in it. So I got a lot out of this issue. I love the art, I love the writing, I love the story, and there's just so much heart in here. And so much just to gain. I mean, just a beautiful book. You could just flip through the pages and just see Brian Bucceletto's art just do this talking. It's just gorgeous, high quality, all the way through. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So, for me, there was a lot to gain here, and I didn't find anything disappointing about it. I like the story, I like the art. So, in the end, The Flash issue number 0 gets a 5 out of 5. Next up is another character which I didn't know much about, because the first time I read about this character was actually in New 52 with Justice League Dark. And we get John Constantine, we get him in his early age, on trying to figure out how to use magic and become the best magic wielder in the DC universe. So he goes to New York. He already learned everything he needed to learn from England. So he comes to the United States, to New York, to learn. And in there, he meets some characters that you know in the Justice League Dark, like Santana. And it's just cool to see them in their early age. And man, Jeff Lemire, or is it Jeff Lemire, has really gotten the handle on John Constantine. Reading the early story arc, the first 6 issues, you didn't really get a sense of who John Constantine is. But with under Jeff Lemire, you do. And I really like him as a character. I was actually thinking about going and reading his earlier stuff from the Vertigo series, not Jeff Lemire, but just John Constantine, and to see the differences between the DC New 52 John Constantine and the one in Vertigo. That would actually be interesting to do a video on, compare and contrast on who these characters are from Vertigo to the New 52. So in the end, it was a cool story, but it was a story that I saw coming a mile away. There was nothing really there that surprised me at all. I mean, you can easily just read it and you know what's going to happen. But John Constantine doesn't see it, Santana doesn't see it, but us as the readers, we do. And that's one thing I really hate seeing, is just a generic kind of storyline. But in the end, the art was cool, but just the storyline just didn't do it for me. So in the end, I'm going to Justice League Dark issue number 0, a 3 out of 5. Now, a series from Image that I just absolutely love, and I'm glad to see it back on the shelves, and that is Danger Club issue number 4. First off, I gotta see this cover. It's freaking amazing. And you can see on here Kid Vigilante. He's just beat up as hell. So I was just going into it, I was just like, oh my god, I cannot wait to see what havoc happens to Kid Vigilante. So Kid Vigilante, he's got an actual little crew together to go against the President of the United States. And the President of the United States was once a former hero, now turned villain. And he's up against this major villain. Now, in the end, will Kid Vigilante make it, or will he not? Well, you just have to read this book to find out. The special things about this is the art. Jones, I don't remember his first name, but he does an awesome job at art. I mean, everything's so breathtaking. And just to see how they utilize the way that the whole book is formed, it's just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And they let the art just breathe in this thing. There's not so much words in there that it just bogs the whole thing down. It's a perfect combination of the art and the writer just doing a masterful job at the series. But the question I have is this series finding an audience? Because the way that this issue ends, I don't know if Paul Q. Walker is just saying, okay, I'm not finding an audience, so I'm just going to end the series in 6 issues, and it's going to be on a very sad note. Because if that is the case, it's very sad to see. Because I do know when Saga first started, can't think of the writer right now, but the writer of the saga said that if the saga never took off, the characters will die in issue number 6, and that would be that. And that's what I'm kind of feeling in this issue, because I have not looked at sales, but I can just definitely tell that, which I'm hoping not, that this may be the end for this whole entire series, and it may go on just like a really sour note, but I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the writing. The characters in here are just breathtaking, and man, the whole thing with the art, it just gorgeous, gorgeous, and gorgeous. That's one thing I noticed with these books that I just read, these 5 books. The art in here is really good. And it's funny though, reading comics, I'm finding out that I'm liking the art so much more. And when there's just an artist that is working so well with this writer, the comics really do come alive. And that's what I'm seeing in this book right here. Hopefully one day this series will actually be able to pick up a big audience and get the due for Paul Q. Walker. I think it's Eric Jones. So, in the end, Danger Club issue number 4 gets another 5 out of 5. And as you guys should know, I don't usually give out many 5 out of 5s, but in these cases, there were a lot of really good stuff, and I just couldn't see anything bad about it. Wait a minute. I'm going to actually retain that statement. With Danger Club, there was actually a part in there where one of the crew members basically backstabs Kid Vigilante. And when those scenes happened, I saw it coming from a mile away. I mean, the guy had an eye patch. You're just looking at him, you're like, oh man, he looks really shady, even from the beginning. And I remember seeing on some internet buzz saying, oh, this guy is definitely going to be the one who's going to go against everything Kid Vigilante and backstab him, which it obviously does happen. So, in the end, I'm actually going to give it 4 out of 5 instead of 5 out of 5, just because of the story arc, or the story of it was a little bit too predictable. So that's it for this week. In my next videos, I'm hopefully going to be doing my pick of the week, and I'm actually going to be putting out on Monday a preview, talk about the books I'm going to be picking up and which ones you guys should be looking out for. So this is David from the Comic Fix saying, I'll see you guys later.